Good morning, everybody. I am broadcasting in multiple places right now, and so I just want to make sure that the stream is up in both places from my phone and on my computer, and it looks like it is. Okay, so I just finished doing an interview on your teen for parents. And I was talking to them about self advocacy for the teen, especially a teen with an IEP. And in preparing for that discussion, I came up with an idea that I don't know if it's a brand new idea, but to me, I'm very excited about it because I think this is a great accommodation. One of the main accommodations that I have seen forever on IEPs is having tests read aloud, whether that's a standardized test, a classroom based assessment test, or a district assessment. And so, what has always happened in the past has, okay, well, you need the test read aloud. So, we need to have another person come in, and, the child and the adult go off into a corner, or sometimes it's the student and another student. I've also seen the student just have like um, I'm doing this like it's a telephone. It's a piece of PVC pipe, and they kind of read it quietly into this end, so it goes up into their ear. But it's always been something that has been separate from the rest of the students. And I realized this morning that we have kids who use Chromebooks constantly now in their classrooms. And we are often doing things in Google Classroom or in some other format online that is where they're using their computer. And so it dawned on me, because I can remember teachers when I would read a test to a student and provide the accommodations that the student was supposed to have, and the student would do much better on that assessment than they would if they were in the classroom, where the teachers would say to me, well, you're giving them hints, or you're helping them somehow. And so this combats that, and it combats having to have another person take the student elsewhere in order for the student to be able to have the test read aloud to them. And my solution is have the teacher who's giving the test, whatever class this is in, have the teacher record either auditorily, or visually in a video format, reading the test and reading the test choices for the answers. And then when the student takes the test, they have the teacher that has given them the material, in the location where they learned the material, because they're able to do it with headphones on while they're taking the test. They won't have to leave the classroom. You won't have the situation which has come up in many times when I have spoken with parents, is my child got in trouble because they were in a group of 5 people who were having the test read aloud to them, and they worked ahead because it was somebody else was needing longer to answer a question, and in order to only have to read the question once or twice, my child was getting bored or was getting in trouble, and so they started reading ahead, and so they started acting up. I said that backwards. They were bored, or they started acting up and getting in trouble. And so instead of doing that, they read ahead, and they were, finished with their test before everybody else. And then they got in trouble because they read ahead. So we want to combat that. And this will take care of that, because each child could look and hear the test question as many times as they needed for a particular question. And they could work at their pace. So again, this is even a more individualized accommodation. And one of the great benefits of, and there are studies that show this, when you take a test in the room where the material was taught to you, even if any posters that might have helped you learn the material are gone, which for a normal weekly, monthly test, that classroom test, that doesn't happen, you will remember the material better. So that is I'm so excited about this, that this can be a real accommodation and a real option now is that the teacher pre-records. And I know teachers are gonna be like, oh, great, you just put more on my plate. I did. And I apologize for that part of it, but this will help you feel confident in your students' abilities. You won't have that question anymore of, well, did somebody read it differently? Did somebody give them an answer? Because it's you doing it and they're right there in the classroom doing it and you'll be able to see it. And yes, it's going to take you a little bit of time. I understand that. But as a school district, you should be happy with this solution because you wouldn't need a second body or a third body in order to do these. Now, I understand this isn't going to work for standardized tests and, really super long tests like a standardized type of assessment, but it can work. At least I think so at this moment because I'm so excited about it, but this can work. So again, and you want to write this and you want to write this very specifically into the accommodation section that the test is read aloud, pre-recorded by the teacher, and the child takes the test on the computer if everyone else is taking a test on the computer. Again, this is, we're trying to keep the looking different down to a minimum. So if everyone else is taking the test on the computer, whether they have headphones or not, if this particular student puts on headphones, it'll be a little bit different, but it won't be as drastically different as having to leave or sitting in the back of the class doing it. Okay, so that's my exciting thing for this morning. Go check out my interview on Facebook. It's also on YouTube. Again, it was called Your Teen for Parents. I think I did okay. It went really fast. So hopefully it went well. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.